Thomas Paine, Thomas Paine, Thomas Paine, Sam Adams, Sam Adams, Sam Adams, Benjamin Franklin, Benjamin Franklin, Benjamin Franklin. These men spoke up for what they thought was right. From their courage came such documents as the Declaration of Independence and the Constitution of the United States. From their willingness to speak what was sometimes unpopular but right, we enjoy such liberties as freedom of speech, the right to keep and bear arms, and freedom of religion. There are those who still wish to oppress our freedoms, and there are still patriots willing to stand up and defend life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Men like Zeb Bell, who honor our founding fathers and what they stood for. It's now time for Zeb at the ranch, speaking up and defending your freedoms. Brought to you by Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers and all of the other great advertisers on the program. And now, Zeb Bell.
Zeb at the Ranch radio program is suggesting donations for Christmas. Go to the store and buy an extra box of diapers for a crybaby millennial you might know. It will be the gift that keeps on giving. Good morning, everybody. Here comes Kate Smith and God Bless America, followed by a Patriot with our Pledge of Allegiance. Come on, call in on a Thursday, Lunch Bunch Day. I love that song. I love that song and that voice. I say it every day. Kate Smith, God Bless America. Good morning. Zeb at the Ranch. I'm Zeb Bell with our major sponsor, your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers, all 7 locations serving you for wintertime driving, and also some of our great advertisers like Western Waste Services, always at your disposal. Call them at 734-6969. Right now, let's go to the website. Yeah, let's go to the phone line right now and have our Pledge of Allegiance. Good morning.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Hey, man, good to hear from you, and I hope I see you at Lunch Bunch, Jerry. God bless you.
You bet. Have a wonderful day. May the Lord bless.
All right, sir. Good man right there. And always does a good job on that Pledge of Allegiance to Jerry Voss. Thank you very, very much. Oh, my goodness sakes, it's time for the weather. Little bit chilly out there this morning. Yours truly went out for my morning walk, and I had a T-shirt on and a light sweatshirt. Woo! Little frost on the pumpkin. Cheney Flooring and Home Design, 1228 Oakley Avenue in Burley. Look for the blue door. I mean, man, they've got all the ceramic tiles in stock, and some starting at only 99 cents per tile. And they've got Oakley stone, $1.50 a slate. Whoa, baby, get in there today. Everything and whatever you need to make your house a home. Thanks to our wonderful friends. And Whitney's going to be on the air with us later on this morning at Cheney Flooring and Home Design, 1228 Oakley Avenue in Burley. Here's the weather.
It's feeling a little bit more like the winter months, as it's going to be a little bit on the breezy side for today and cold. Partly cloudy skies, winds out of the west right around 15 miles an hour is what we're looking at. High of 41 for today, tonight low of 19. Tomorrow, partly cloudy skies, winds out of the southeast right around 12 miles an hour. High of 44 with an overnight low of 27. For Saturday and Sunday, partly to mostly cloudy skies. Highs are going to be in the mid-50s, lows in the low 30s. And then as we go back to work on Monday, cloudy skies and 49. Yesterday's high was 45. The overnight low was 32. That is your weather for Zeb at the Ranch.
Thanks, Gina. Whatever you need to make your house a home, it's all there at Cheney Flooring and Home Design, 1228 Oakley Avenue in Burley. Yup. Look for that blue door. Merv May, let's sell some cattle. Come on in here.
All right, a good set of steer calves there, here to get $31, 1.5, 31, 1.5, 32.
That's the chant of the world's best auctioneer, Merv May, right over there at the Burley Livestock Sale Yard, 1100 Occidental Avenue in Burley. Merv May, K. Droggy, Lance Udy, the sale that works for you. Starting time this morning at 10 a.m., boys and girls. Going to be a ripping good sale. Wow, I know a lot of these people are bringing in some quality cattle. Wade Prescott bringing in 40 head head of steers weighing about 600 pounds. Ryan Merrill out of Tremonton, semi-load of calves. Scott Priest up at Declo, 25 head of calves. Jim Barton up at Cary, good old boy, good roper, nice guy. 40 head of calves and about 10 head of butcher cows. Mont Campbell out of Clear Creek bringing in 70 head of calves. Dennis Bortz of Albion, 35 head of calves. Scott Blaisdell out of Malad, know that country really well, 40 head of calves coming in. Bedke Wine Cup Ranch up at Oakley, 34 head of butcher cows. And Bruce Holt over at Gooding bringing in 50 head of calves. This is going to be a good sale. Don't miss it. 10 o'clock this morning at the Burley Livestock Sale Yard, 1100 Occidental Avenue in Burley. Merv, let's sell those steers.
All right, he gets the steer calves there here to get $31, 1.5, 31, 1.5, 32, 2.5, 3.5, 134, 4.5, 5.5, 5.5, 135, 50, 135, and I sell him $35. Zeb Bell gets bottom again.
I tell you what, thank you, Merv. Appreciate it. And and it's kind of funny. The night before, last night, I'll call Merv and I'll get the livestock run. And you talk about a pen burning up a piece of paper trying to keep up with him. And then after I'm all done, and I say, okay, Merv, thanks. Then I got to go back and I got to figure out what my abbreviations mean. And I'm getting pretty good at it. A couple of mistakes every now and then, but getting pretty good. Calls are welcome, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. We're going to have an update on what's happening over in Rupert with the baby Jesus in the nativity scene. I believe Roger Davis is going to call us at about 9:12 this morning, so I'm looking forward to that. Quickly, I want to tell you there's going to be Thanksgiving dinners next week on Thursday, Thanksgiving. Everybody welcome at the Senior Junction, 2421 Overland Avenue in Burley. This is, of course, the one that the churches in the Mini-Cassia area put on. It's going to be delicious. And then also Thanksgiving dinner, 15th annual Thanksgiving dinner, presented by Alaska's Best and the Rupert Elks Lodge at the Rupert Elks Dining Hall, noon to 4 on Thanksgiving. And God bless you and your families. I hope it is a family day on Thanksgiving. Don't forget Ramsey Heating and Electric at 2600 Overland Avenue in Burley. Number to call, 678-0459. I got to tell you, yeah, buddy, it got a little chilly last night. 26 here right now. And when your little feetsies hit the floor, you kind of do a Bavarian tap dance going to the thermostat and turning it up. Well, make sure your furnace is all prepared to treat you with warm heat efficiently. Make sure you get new furnace filters, and they've got them all for you at Ramsey Heating and Electric at 2600 Overland Avenue in Burley, open 7:30 to 5 Monday through Friday. And of course, this is where they provide warm winters and cool summers. Caller, I'll be right there. Stand by. Again, we're going to be at Denny's Restaurant today at 11:30 for lunch bunch, 611 Overland in Burley. And our thanks also to Smith's Food, Hanson Mortuary, Walmart, Stokes. All these people help contribute along with Denny's with gift cards for our door prizes. And I'm going to try the red velvet pancake puppies with white chocolate chips and cream cheese. I'm going to splurge. It sounds so good. All of these great menu items at Denny's Restaurant, America's Diner, 611 Overland in Burley, and also 291 Pole Line Road in Twin Falls. Denny's Restaurant. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Good morning, Zeb.
Yes, sir.
I was reading in The Voice, that's a rag, that's attached to the Times News, and it says, judges order revive movement to remove Snake River dams.
Yeah.
Now, that was in bold print, but I had my wife read it to me, and this is so wrong.
Yeah.
To breach these dams just so that the salmon can come upriver and spawn.
Yeah,
This is the one that gets the most benefit out of this is the Indian tribe down there on the Columbia. And now they can go fishing anytime, day or night, for salmon or whatever they want to on the Columbia River.
Yeah.
There's no limit and no restriction and requires no license.
Yep.
You like a deal like that?
Well, as a matter of fact, I'm glad you brought this up. Hold on just a minute, Keith. Wheels, I'm hearing some static on the line. Is everything coming over the air all right this morning? Please tell me quickly.
Everything's going good.
All right.
we ever have to change a line, we can do it during the news or something.
Well, let me know if there's a lot of static later on, okay?
Okay.
All right. Keith, in response to what you said, next week I'm going to have the most knowledgeable man about water and dams on this program, and we're going to be discussing exactly the piece that you read in the paper. I'm going to have Norm Semanko on next week. Nobody knows more about dams and water from the Idaho Water Users Association than Norm Semanko. So thank you for bringing it up. I'm not going to elaborate too much on it this morning because I want to wait and hear what Norm has to say, but I'm glad you caught that.
You know, the next meeting, but they don't even tell you where it's at, is on December the 8th.
Yeah.
They don't even tell you where it's at.
Well, that's because a lot of the people that probably... never mind. I'm not going to comment on that right now, but I guarantee you that you'll be interested in what Norm has to say about this. So stay tuned next week, my friend.
See you this morning.
All right, buddy.
Whatever.
All right. Thank you very much. God bless you, man. Hey, don't forget, Thanksgiving wishes go out from Dot Foods. What a wonderful company and so great for this area. 1541 West 27th Street in Burley. Dot Foods likes to say to you and to the Mini-Cassia area all over, thank you for your support and help from making Dot Foods the nation's largest food industry redistributor. And believe me, they've got great employees and great drivers, and a lot of people want to go to work for them because they are simply the best, and they wish you and yours a very happy Thanksgiving. Thank you very much. Okay, let's see where we're at here. I'm absolutely shocked, and I mean this, that we the people have let these crybaby wannabe wah-wah millennials destroy and disrupt for over a week. Now, put this in perspective. If a bunch of us senior citizens got some old Hillrig Bradsby baseball bats, let's say 6 or 7 of us that wanted to take a little walk, and we went out and started smashing storefront windows and possibly throwing some lighter fluid on rags inside those businesses and holding up traffic, how long do you think we'd be allowed to do that before the police, and rightfully so, would come in and transport us to a place that has bars on the door? It wouldn't take long. Now, why are we putting up with these punks? They have not grown up, and no one has handed them a participation trophy or a blue ribbon. And these wet-nosed punks are throwing a tantrum. They didn't get their way. They are worried that they might have to get up off their lazy dead butts and go to work. The other day, I was criticized, and I did not generalize. I checked the tape, and I did not generalize. I said there are a lot of great young people, and there are. There are a lot of great young people that have goals and aspirations to really be successful, do something for themselves, their family, and their community. But these worthless punk millennials are absolutely causing all kinds of problems. What they need is absolutely some tough love. And quite frankly, I think it's about time to turn on the water cannons and get them off the streets, whether it's the streets of Minneapolis, whether it's the streets of Portland, Seattle, Chicago. It doesn't make any difference. New York City, that's enough. Caller, your thoughts. You're on the air.
Well, not only that, but we have, it's been on the news, people calling and emailing and threatening our Idaho electors, and we're probably not the only state with electors that have been threatened, to vote for other than Donald Trump.
Right.
I've never heard of anything like that.
Well, the crybabies lost. The wannabes lost. They can't accept defeat because they've always been winners with a participation trophy and blue ribbons. And now they can't accept it. The left is being fed by Soros and Michael Moore and these other nincompoops because they will not accept defeat. They will not allow anybody else to take office. They are nothing but spoiled garbage.
maybe we should buy them some diapers, because wouldn't that make the stock in the diaper companies go up? And if we bought their stock now and then bought all those diapers, wouldn't we become rich?
Absolutely. And for the case of us seniors, if you go to buy some Depends, buy an extra one.
Oh, this is disgusting.
It's beyond disgusting.
My country, the way that some of the people in it act.
Linda, it's beyond disgusting. It's a cancer, and it's being allowed to fester and grow.
Yeah. What kind of discipline, what kind of courtesy, what have these kids been taught?
Okay, now you didn't like when Obama was elected, did you?
I didn't like the way it was done.
Okay, but did you hit the streets and burn and destroy and break windows?
No, I prayed.
Yeah, that's exactly what I did. And then I vowed on the radio, and you know this is true because you listen, I vowed to do everything I could to be absolutely a person that was going to be a thorn in their side and move towards better conservative principles in the future. But I didn't go out and destroy or hurt anybody.
Right.
And this is what we've come to now.
A little bit of some of what happened in the 60s and 70s with all of those groups rioting. Part of them were on college campuses, and I was in the midst of it, though I didn't take part of it, but it was certainly awful.
Yep.
And we had prison riots, and we had all kinds of riots.
Yeah. Well, I
don't know how much they actually got for anybody.
Yeah. Linda, right now, I will say this, and I think you will agree with this. To the millennials, you lost. And you know what? I'll bet you a $100 bill you will lose again in life many, many times. So get ready for it, Buckwheat. It's not a free, easy ride.
No, it isn't.
Linda, God bless you. I appreciate your call as always. Thank you.
You bet.
All right, see you at Lunch Bunch, I hope. Thank you very, very much. Calls welcome, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. I'm still noticing a little bit of fuzz and static, but if some of the callers, if you call and let us know how we're coming into your radio in your kitchen or living room, let us know. I'll be right there, caller. Stand by. Burley Physical Therapy and Rehabilitation, 1263 Bennett Avenue, Suite 2 in Burley. My goodness, what can you say about people that are so gifted with knowledge to being the best physical therapist to help you with your exercises and get you back to where you want to be, getting back to being you. Yeah, you'll feel great. Call them for an appointment at 678-1191. Burley Physical Therapy and Rehabilitation, 1263 Bennett Avenue, Suite 2 in Burley. Absolutely the best. I'll be right there, caller. Stand by. Don't forget to, whoops, I dropped the whole ball of wax on the floor. There we go. Don't forget Barry Equipment and Rental. Yes, sirree, Bobby, they've got the equipment to get the job done right. 3 locations, South Lincoln and Jerome, Addison Avenue West in Twin Falls, and 159 West Highway 30 in Burley. I'm telling you right now, great deal on used rental Bobcat equipment for sale right now. Used rental Bobcat equipment, 0% interest on 48 months. Oh, boy, what a deal. You'd better get in there because I said they have all the equipment to get the job done right, and they know and they can help you at Barry Equipment and Rental, Jerome, Twin Falls, and 159 West Highway 30 in Burley. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Yes, good frosty morning.
Yes, it is.
Listening to de Blasio made me kind of want to throw up this morning. He's talking about welcoming all these undocumented insurgents in there because they like the immigrants, they do good for the country. They don't do good for the country. Most of my family came over to Ellis Island. They worked hard. They paid their taxes. They didn't turn out to be a bunch of millennials which wanted something for nothing. They just sweated, did some of the dirtiest, nastiest jobs to survive with.
Yeah. You know, Tony,
these guys that are bringing in these undocumented to all these countries are bringing in a bunch of enemies that are going to strengthen the Democratic Party.
Yeah. Tony, I'm telling you right now that there are such divisive wounds in this country because of the absolute insane left. I'm going to just say it like that. They do not abide by the Constitution. They do not abide by the laws of this country, and they're doing everything they can to be disruptive and tear the fabric of America apart. And quite frankly, the longer that we let this happen, the bigger the sore is going to become. It's got to be nipped in the bud now, or it's always going to be there, and we're going to see more strife in this country than ever before.
You know, as far as I'm concerned, there's not much difference between the Democratic Party and the communist movement. And that's what I see happening here.
I can't argue that. And I heard this morning, I received some information that I've got to share with you. Maybe you're not aware of it, but thanks to my lovely bride, you know who Keith Ellison is?
I've heard the name.
All right, he is a Muslim congressman from Minnesota. The Democrats right now are trying to move him into the Democratic national chairmanship job, and he has had known ties to Louis Farrakhan. He's had known ties to the Muslim Brotherhood and the Nation of Islam, and if that doesn't make the hair on the back of your neck stand up, nothing would. I can't understand or even contemplate what is the matter with the Democratic Party.
Well, they're not, like I say, they're no difference than they want all this power, and they don't care how they go about to get it, and they don't care what happens to the Republican Party. They just want a one-party system in this country, and that's the Communist Party. Yeah,
I'm very worried about the state of affairs in this country. I'm very worried about the negativity of the GOP won, and the left can't accept that, and now they're doing all this stupidity of trying to make threats to the GOP electorate, the Electoral College. I mean, the list goes on and on. I'm very, very worried about what's happening in this country, Tony. Thank you so much for your call.
You're welcome, Zeb.
God bless you, man. Thanks. You know, these threats. We're going to just talk to these people at the Electoral College. Yeah, we're going to maybe do a little tweaking and arm twisting. What is this? You know something, to the millennials? I got to get this point out before I leave here. Somebody called me yesterday and said, well, I listened to you this morning, and they said, well, you weren't very sympathetic towards the college kids and their movement with the millennials. I said, no, I never will be. They should be in class. They should be learning and studying how they can attain a goal and maybe get a great job, or maybe be in a leadership capacity to where they can lead America in the future. Right now, all of them that are protesting are worthless and on the dole. That's as blunt as I can say it. But, you know, this is what really irrigates me. I love that one, Zeb, my own faux pas. Irritates me. These wet-nosed sobbing kids at various colleges, they're getting crying rooms. They're getting psychotherapy. And I'm not exaggerating this. Some of the colleges and universities have allowed for and made room for petting ponies and petting puppies, so that these millennials can have somebody to curl up to and feel some love and compassion. And they're providing them with hot chocolate. What? These are 19, 20, 21, 22, 23-year-old kids. Grow up. Like one of the callers said at the beginning of the week, buckle up, Buttercup. It's time to cowboy up and start to be a part of life and not have life hand you everything. You know, speaking of that, I'm way over time. I'm messing up my time frame here. Did you see the story on the Afghanistan veteran? A double amputee stepped on a roadside bomb over in Afghanistan, blew off both of his legs at the hip. Brian Mast, double amputee. He could have easily quit. He could have easily come home and used and milked the system and never had to work. No, not Brian Mast. He worked hard to learn how to walk on his prostheses. He learned how to go upstairs, downstairs, do things on his own. And then he ran for the United States House, and he won a seat as a representative. There is the American spirit. There is a man that got involved. There is a man that had goals and aspirations, not these silly, worthless punks crying, "I need a petting pony." America had better change, and like I say at the end of every show, we'd better get back to the way things were. Calls are welcome, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Don't forget Mount Harrison Audiology with the lovely Dr. Christine Pickup. Oh, yes, she knows all about hearing. She knows all about sound. She knows all about hearing screenings. And if you're suffering some hearing loss, it might be due to your medications. It could be due to some disease. It could be due to any number of things, and you may be helped. Please give her a call for an appointment at 312-0957. Across from the Minidoka Hospital Emergency Room, Mount Harrison Audiology and Hearing Aids. Please get a hold of them today. By the way, while I'm waiting for your phone calls, which I hope are coming in because it wouldn't be much fun just sitting here all by myself, don't forget to our friends at Streamline Precision. Hello, Tim. I am very, very impressed with what they do, what they build, and how they build it. First class. They've got all the steel buildings, pre-engineered steel buildings from Nucor, Prime, and Sukup, and long-lasting, maintenance-free. And now with the winter months here, now is the time to get a hold of Tim Vaughn and say, hey, we need to get something built on the farm, the ranch, the dairy, and we need it by spring. So, hey, get a hold of him today. 431-7314. Streamline Precision, Tim Vaughn, the very, very best. All right, your calls, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. There is trouble brewing for Nancy Pelosi. Yes, the poster girl for Botox. By the way... Oh, I'm going to get letters and calls on this. But they had close-ups yesterday of both Nancy Pelosi and Hillary Clinton. Now, I got to combine these two a little bit. Nancy Pelosi was standing in the halls of Congress and addressing some of the news media with questions about whether she is going to retain her minority speaker position. And there is a big movement right now to throw her out. And Ohio Representative Tim Ryan is the man that may very well be voted in place of Nancy Pelosi. But then, let's go to the second half of the story. Hillary Clinton was giving a speech yesterday at a function in New York City. And they had a close-up of her. All I'm going to say is I think the Hillary campaign ran out of money for makeup. And to say the least, both of these ladies looked a little rough, kind of like a plowed field. And the strain on their eyes and the look on their faces and everything else, I think they'd be better served going home, making a hot cup of tea, and watching a soap opera. Calls are welcome, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Clean up on aisle 7. It was rough. Anyway, let's also remind you about Minnecasia Sales, 1321 East Main Street in Burley, right across from the airport. Zach and the whole crew. If you didn't put those windows in before this morning, I bet you can feel that colder air coming through. Well, you don't want that to happen. They've got the western windows, and they can send over a contractor to do the installation. You better call them today, 878-2091. Minicash Sales, 1321 East Main Street in Burley, and they sponsor and present to you Dr. History on Tuesdays at 10:06. Don't miss that. 20 billion barrels of oil. I can't even fathom what 20 billion, with a B, barrels of oil would look like. That's what they just found in capability, at least, minimum. 20 billion barrels of oil in the shale, a new shale find in Texas. And I'll bet this has got the camel jockeys over in the Middle East just, oh no, they found all this shale. Holy cow, they can deplete their buying from us, and wow, what are we going to do? We're not smart enough to have anything else to export. We're not advanced enough to do anything else for export, even though we've made trillions of dollars. Why we didn't invest it in ourselves? What are we going to do? Well, that's good. That's good. I'm glad that we're finding these things. I'm glad that we're knowledgeable of these things. And I'm glad that we can be energy self-reliant. 20 billion more barrels of oil shale discovered in Texas. Yeah, that's part of the United States, folks. That's us. Calls welcome, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Give me a call. Like to hear from you. Hey, respond on this deal with Keith Ellison a little bit. This is really worrisome to me. It really, really is. I don't trust this man. I'm going to be called anti-Muslim and everything else. I don't care. I do not trust this man, Keith Ellison. I'll talk more about that in just a minute. Don't forget, quality comes first at the Big Bull and Female Sale at the Molson Angus Ranch this weekend between Parma and Fruitland. Saturday and Sunday, I'm telling you what, it's going to be a ripping good sale. It starts on Saturday with the junior fitting and showing at 11 o'clock, followed by lunch and a buyer's social. And then on Sunday, they're going to have that tri-tip lunch at noon. Big sale at 1 o'clock. I'm telling you, this is the place to go this weekend. It's right up there at 3135 Elmore Road between Parma and Fruitland. And the number to call for more information, 739-0725. Josh and the rest of the crew will get you to the best doggone bull and female sale. Molson, Angus, and Herefords. Quality comes first, up between Parma and Fruitland. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Yeah. You know, this Ellison, that's the representative we're talking about, isn't he the one that refused to put his hand on the Bible
Yep.
when he was sworn in?
Yep.
You know, don't that send a signal to us?
Well, let me just tell you a little bit about him.
To give up his religion or anything else,
Yeah.
but he needs to make a pledge to the United States and to job he's supposed to do. Isn't that what it's all about?
Well, Keith, wait a minute. Let's not hedge or jump around the rose bush here. Let's just tell it like it is. I said for a long time on this radio program, and if somebody doesn't like it, I don't care. I see a Muslim influence coming into this country with the Muslim Brotherhood involved in the Obama administration. I see the Nation of Islam. I see, of course, all these people connected with Louis Farrakhan. I see more politicals getting involved as far as Muslims are concerned. I'm very worried, my friend, because there have been imams that have said, like 4 years ago on ABC television special, there will be a Muslim flag over the White House in the next decade. And by golly, it's leaning that way.
Yeah, and then you've got people like Al Franken, who was supposed to be a comedian, didn't succeed at that, and I don't think he's done any better since he's been in Congress. No, he's a senator, isn't he?
Al Franken is absolutely one of the biggest jokes as a comedian, but it's not funny, when he took over and got involved in politics. And when you look at the left, now trying to push Keith Ellison as the leader for the DNC, I tell you, Keith, everybody ought to be more than worried.
Absolutely. And when you were talking about these camel jockeys, that OPEC and that sort of thing, with this big find that they found in Texas, you bet they're shaking in their boots. And so they're going to make more of a push for infiltration into the United States.
Yeah.
So eventually they'll be able to take us over, and they'll have their own.
I don't understand why more people are not wary. I do not understand why more people are not questioning. I do not understand why more people are saying to themselves, oh, well, what's the matter with that? I'm very concerned about what's going on. We're seeing a liberal left movement with the kids out on the streets, burning, looting, destroying. We're seeing Muslim takeovers in various places that, quite frankly, I don't want them in power. We're seeing a lot of problems across the board with the people that can't accept the election, and we're seeing pleas now and pressure being put upon the Electoral College to change their votes. Wow, Keith, we got a lot of problems here.
We sure do. And I'll tell you what, this OPEC, it never was an organization. It was kind of like herding cats.
Yeah.
It just, they were going every which direction, and all I can think about is just the price.
Yep.
Getting the price up.
Yep.
And they don't look to preserving their resources or anything like that. They just want to have the money.
Yep.
Because that's all they have.
All right, my friend. I'm
export.
Yep, I'm very concerned about appointments that possibly would involve Keith Ellison, a Muslim that has identified himself in the past as Keith X. Ellison and Keith Ellison Muhammad, and has sauntered up and been cozy with Louis Farrakhan and also the Nation of Islam. Not a kind of a guy I want running this country. Hey, take care, my friend. I got to run. Thank you very much.
I might have to change my name if he gets any higher up.
Yeah. All right. Thank you, Keith. Appreciate it.
You bet.
Calls are welcome. 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Chilly outside. Well, let's find out exactly what's going on. The weather is brought to you by Riverview Urgent Care, 382 North Overland and Burley. Twin Falls Urgent Care, 2392 Addison Avenue East in Twin Falls. And the Jerome Urgent Care, 133 West Avenue A in Jerome. Listen, a lot of coughs, fevers, sinus infections, lacerations, whatever, slip and trip falls. They can help you. They will help you. Minor emergencies, major care at the Urgent Cares. Open 7 days a week. Right now, here's Gina with the weather.
It's feeling a little bit more like the winter months, as it's going to be a little bit on the breezy side for today and cold. Partly cloudy skies, winds out of the west right around 15 miles an hour is what we're looking at. High of 41 for today, tonight low of 19. Tomorrow, partly cloudy skies, winds out of the southeast right around 12 miles an hour. High of 44 with an overnight low of 27. For Saturday and Sunday, partly to mostly cloudy skies. Highs are going to be in the mid-50s, lows in the low 30s. And then as we go back to work on Monday, cloudy skies and 49. Yesterday's high was 45. The overnight low was 32. That is your weather for Zephyr Duran.
Thank you, Gina. Brought to you by the Urgent Cares. And I'll tell you what, these are really good places with Kyle James as the leader. Believe me, if you've got a problem, like I said, sinus infection, a cut or whatever, sprain, go to the Urgent Cares. Minor emergency, major care. And that's at Riverview Urgent Care in Burley, Twin Falls Urgent Care, Twin Falls, Jerome Urgent Care in Jerome. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Good morning, sir.
Well, I figured you'd better call. You almost lost your star for the day if you hadn't called, because I know you've got some thoughts on everything I've said.
Oh, that gentleman that they're wanting to put up on the DNC, I'm lost for his name, but
Keith Ellison.
The Democrat Party is being taken over.
Yep.
By the Muslims.
Absolutely.
And, the Democrat Party of old in John F. K's day was a good party. They were some I could get behind. JFK was a president I could get behind.
Absolutely.
He was a very good man.
Yep.
But ever since his assassination and LBJ got in there, that Democratic Party just making a left-hand turn, and they haven't stopped.
You know, this is what's so funny, Doug. You and I are being highly critical of Keith Ellison, okay? And he may take over the job of leading the Democratic National Party. But listen to this. Here's a guy. I didn't write this. You didn't write this. It's the truth. He was referring to himself in 1998 because of his Nation of Islam status as Keith X. Ellison and Keith Ellison Mohammed. He had very strong ties to Louis Farrakhan, very strong ties to the Nation of Islam, and was very supportive of what they were promoting to the public. Hey, I'm a little worried, aren't you?
I am. But the Democrats, I don't know what they're thinking. I mean, they're going to have to live in this world they're creating.
You want to hear something funny?
Their loyalty to this party that's going to try to take down America, the people that take over aren't going to be loyal to them.
I got to tell you something you're going to chuckle at, because you are very observant of what's going on in politics. Listen to this line on this press release that came out about Keith Ellison. Ellison is firmly on the party's left. He has a fax line in his office, but his website says they will not respond to faxes for environmental reasons. Oh, what kind of a dim bulb are they talking about here? Oh, he won't respond to faxes because of environmental reasons. Oh, my gosh. And people in this country are gullible enough to swallow that worm that's on a big hook.
Exactly. And they, well, what's wrong with that? Yeah, that's funny.
You know, it's not, though. It really isn't funny when you think of it, Doug, because right now, with all the turmoil that's going on since the election with these punk-nosed, wet-nosed kids and the sobbing, I can't handle it because Trump won, I need to go pet a pony. I mean, this is so crazy. You couldn't have written a script about this 25, 30 years ago and had anybody believe it.
Exactly. And I seen a deal the other day, the lack of discipline has turned into a result of disrespect.
Can you imagine the embarrassment? Now, did you go to college?
No, sir, I didn't.
I did.
Went to School of Hard Knocks.
Well, okay, you graduated magna cum laude. I appreciate that.
I'm still taking it.
Okay, but I did, and I cannot imagine for 1 second being so belittled in my human experience that my presidential candidate didn't win. I didn't vote, but I need to go pet a pony and have some hot chocolate because I'm crying. I'm 23 years old and I'm not a man. I'm just a sobbing, welting piece of flesh that can't stand up under life's pressures. Ay, ay, ay.
I know it. That's disgusting, and I blame it on their parents.
I do too.
This guy listened to the other day, he's saying the baby boomers done good. They worked hard and they give their kids more than they had when they was younger. And then now their kids are raising these kids that tried to give them everything because, you know, they wanted to do better than their parents. And the one thing they didn't give them was respect.
Yeah, I just can't imagine a lack of pride, a total lack of pride in yourself, to sit on a street corner, male or female, and cry and demand that the college or university that you're attending provide you with a warm space with hot chocolate and then dogs and puppies and ponies to pet because you can't handle it. I never could resort to that kind of stuff. Could you?
No. And a little experience I had when I was about 30 years old. I went out to the oil field and working in the oil field, and I started doing welding. I was a contract welder, had my own welding truck, and I was making, this was in, late 70s, early 80s. I was making $30 an hour, and I was getting $1,800 a week. And I'd done that for, about 9-10 months, and then that's when that oil shale fell apart.
Yep.
And I lost my job, and I went to work for $3.30 an hour. if you want something that will humble you,
yep,
try that. I was suave broke. I ate suave shampoo, and I ate Roman noodles.
Oh, thank you so much for telling us. I remember the Roman noodles part when I was in college. Well, I'll tell you what, we had a luxury, though. We had Roman noodles and Pop-Tarts.
I couldn't afford Pop-Tarts. But these kids nowadays need to have a wake-up call like that to make them appreciate what they have.
Amen. Hey, I got to run, buddy, but don't forget, buy a box of diapers for a millennial. Give it to him for Christmas.
Oh, by the way, I'm not going to be at Lunch Bunch today, but I will drop off a couple redneck cup holders.
God bless you, my friend. God bless you. Thank you so much. Thank you. Don't forget, Ark Animal Hospital, 750 21st Street in Heyburn. They have warm hearts for cold noses. I love that. Dr. Bill, Dr. Liz, the whole crew over there. They really care about animals. They care about your animals. And Ark Animal Hospital is a mixed animal practice, meaning big or small. They love them all. All you have to do is stop over or give a call, 678-1177. Ark Animal Hospital in Heyburn. Yep, warm hearts for cold noses. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Yeah, I have a crying towel for Hillary.
Okay.
I'd like to donate. So I understand she did a lot of that and wasn't in any kind of shape to come out and greet people election night. But, it's really sad. You were talking earlier about the Muslim situation and this guy that they're putting up for a Democratic national chairman.
Yep.
I mean, he's dangerous. I mean, this guy would be as bad as Pelosi was and so forth. I mean, not Pelosi, but the other Donna Brazile and some of these others. This guy is a hardened, Muslim, wanting to be everybody. Bring him in here in droves, take over the country.
Yep.
And people that don't understand the goal, the big goal of Islam, is to take away our Constitution and replace it with Sharia law.
That's absolutely right.
That's their goal. And in every country, not just ours, and some of the countries like Europe is almost gone because of Merkel and the stupid people that are leading over there. It's unbelievable. But the same thing is happening here, Zeb. I understand there's part of Twin Falls already has 22% of the homeowners or people that have houses. You can search that out, and a friend brought that to my attention. 22% in one area are homes that are owned by Muslims.
Yep.
And, of course, us taxpayers are footing the bill on that, of course, and that's another problem.
If you don't think I'm worried about this,
what's your take on it, Zeb?
well, I'm very upset about it, and I got to wrap it up here. I'm at the end of the hour, but I want to say this to you before I leave. I am very concerned, and people have called me, a wannabe crybaby against the Muslims and against, of course, the Muslim refugees coming in and everything. They've called me all kinds of names. That's fine. But I absolutely see what's happening in this country, and I've talked to many, many political leaders across the board, not here just in the state of Idaho, and their concerns are the same as mine. They see an encroachment factor and a takeover factor that down the road 10 years, my friend, like in Detroit, other places, look out.
Well, like they said, they swore, some imam said, like you said earlier, wants to have a Islam flag flying over the White House.
That's right.
And actually, if Hillary would have stayed in there for 4 or 8 years, that probably would have taken place.
All right, I got to run, but
we were very blessed. We've got a big responsibility. I think God gave us another chance to bring this country back in focus, but we've got to keep their feet to the fire. I mean, all of our elected representatives.
I agree.
And keep on them, and they've got to uphold their oath of office for limited federal government. The U.S. Constitution.
I got to run, Adrian. We're running late. I got to run. I got to run.
Hold their feet to the fire. And anyway, have a great day.
All right.
Okay?
All right, buddy. Thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, I got to run. I got to get a commercial in here real quick. And I agree with what he said. They've called me all kinds of names, the left. I mean, they call me biased. They call me prejudiced. They call me a bigot. They call me a hate monger. So be it. I'm also very honest about my feelings. Don't forget your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. All 7 locations serving you. Wintertime driving. Be ready for it. I'm telling you, stop over and check out all the different locations. They can serve you. And don't forget they've got all the tires, all the tread designs, everything for safe wintertime driving. The best in brake service, the best in front end alignment, shocks and struts, and don't forget the batteries. They've got the best in batteries. I mean, man, wintertime driving, you got to really pay attention to the P's and Q's. They will help. They do help. At your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers, Lane and Rupert, Dave on Blue Lakes and Twin, Mike and Buell, Mike and Jerome, the Twist family and Paul, Daniel on Poline in Twin Falls, and my buddy Randy on Overland in Burley. The best. Your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. We are going to take a little break for about 6 minutes. Wheels is going to play a little song for us up to CBS News. We'll be back. Don't go away. Brr. It's cold. Good morning. Good morning. I had 26 when I signed up. What have I got outside my door right now? I got to check on that. I got to turn around and look. It went down a degree. Really? 25. Whoa. Welcome to Zeb at the Ranch. I'm Zeb Bell, your host for this program, and we're brought to you by our major sponsor, your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers, all 7 locations. Really great people getting you ready for safe wintertime driving, along with some of our great advertisers like Western Waste Services.
From the canyons of the Snake River and all across southern Idaho, we're always at your disposal. Western Waste Services, we care about our community, our resources, and this free land. Western Waste Services is lending a hand, always at your disposal. Western Waste Services.
Quality, dependability, and value with these folks that are locally owned and operated. Western Waste Services serving you. Getting rid of your garbage. It's gone. It's out of there. Call them 734-6969. Really nice people that absolutely do an A1 job. You call, get on the route service today. You're going to be so happy you did. 734-6969. Always at your disposal. Western Waste Services. The best. Okay, I also want to tell you, this is going to be such a neat, really good cattle and female sale up at Molson, Angus, and Hereford Ranch. It's going to be this weekend, Saturday and Sunday, between Parma and Fruitland, 3135 Elmore Road. And I suggest that if you're not familiar with that area, it's easy. Call Josh Molson at 739-0725. They're going to have 100 head of bulls, and they're going to have a whole bunch of Angus and Hereford cattle, 50 head of females, and Saturday, the junior fitting and showing at 11 o'clock, lunch on a buyer's social, and Sunday, the big sale day, tri-tip lunch at noon. Sale starts at 1 p.m. Oh, this is a good sale. Quality comes first at the Molson, Angus, and Hereford Ranch sale coming up this weekend between Parma and Fruitland. Really nice people, great sale. Right now, we're going to, oh my goodness, I got to get this lovely lady on the phone. She's probably chomping on the bit waiting for me at the Minnetonka Chamber of Commerce. Here's the director. Good morning, Kyla.
Good morning. This is Jackie. Kyla's on the bus headed to leadership. So,
well, Jackie, how are you?
I am just wonderful this wonderful cold morning.
Well, it is a little chilly, but what do you got for us over at the Minnetonka Chamber of Commerce?
Oh, we are on the last of our T-shirt sale, and it's just about over. So if you want any more 50% off T-shirts, come and get them. This is the last week, and then the sale's done. But we have all kinds of other goodies. Holidays are here. It's time to start shopping.
Well, you know, Jackie, you've got a lot of unique gifts over there in your gift shop. And I think before we go any further, why don't you tell everybody the hours that gift shop is open over there?
Monday through Friday, 9 to 5.
And there's a lot of great made-in-Idaho-only products, aren't there?
Oh, of course. We have all kinds of, like Cowboy Tom's pancake mixes, we have huckleberry syrups, we have coffees, we have huckleberry syrups. We just have all kinds of wonderful, wonderful things.
And you, of course, are there to greet everybody and say howdy. And, what else is going on over there this time of the year? I mean, it's close to Thanksgiving and everything else. What else?
Oh, right now we are in the process. We just changed up our program. We've gone to tier benefits. So if anybody's interested in joining the chamber, now's a wonderful time. We've upped the program, and it's going to be wonderful changes. So get hold of Heather or Kyle over here at 679-4793. And check it out. It's going to be a wonderful new benefit.
Now, Jackie,
for you.
What is the... I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. We got a little delay there. I apologize. I walked on you, and I apologize for that. What is your specific job over at the chamber? Are you just the lady that smiles and says, well, hello, can we help you? I mean, what do you do?
I'm the office administrator, and I'm over the visitor center, and I bring in all the fun gifts. I'm also plan all the parties. I'm the event planner, so I have the best job, I think, out of all of them. I get to do the fun things, and I know working with the members is really fun too, because I love our members. I love the public. It's a fun job.
Well, I want to compliment you. You have such a great smiling voice on the radio, and I really appreciate that. Now, if people have questions about belonging to the Chamber of Commerce, or what the hours are, or anything else about activities going on in the area, how do they get a hold of you folks?
Hey, 679-4793. Go to our webpage, and it's minicasuchamber.com. And we found out that we are one of the top hit web pages for events in the area. We get over 40,000 hits. So that's a great. Make sure your event is on that web page, and so people will look for it.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, Jackie, I'm always been impressed with you and the rest of the gals over there. You do a wonderful job representing the Mini-Cassia Chamber of Commerce. Thank you for being on the program this morning. Now, you can go back and you can sip on your hot tea and enjoy the day.
Okay, you have a great one.
All right.
I'll talk to you later.
God bless. Thank you. What a nice lady over there. All of those folks are really, really nice at the Mini-Cassia Chamber of Commerce. Hey, real quick, I know about nice people, and I'm going to talk to you about some more, and that's Hanson Mortuary, 710 6th Street in Rupert, with Joel Heward, his family, and his staff. Very, very flexible hours to serve you and your family when there's the passing of a loved one. They basically are always there when you need them. And they can travel to the rural towns and churches to help you and your family with all the arrangements, always upholding the highest ethical standards with unquestioned integrity. Please remember the number 436-5636. Hanson Mortuary, 710 6th Street in Rupert, serving you and your family. Nice people. Wheels, I'm expecting a call from Roger Davis. Is he on the line yet?
Yes, sir, he is.
I'm sorry to keep him waiting. I really am. Roger, my apologies. I got wrapped up and a little bit behind. Good morning, sir. Roger Davis with the Rupert City, and I thank you for coming on the program this morning.
Oh, not a problem, Zeb. How are you this morning?
I'm good. Now, I have had quite a few phone calls since yesterday, and I wanted to let you know that a lot of people are very, very concerned about this situation with the robbing of the baby Jesus out of the nativity scene, and also they're wanting to contribute to perhaps buy a new one to keep the nativity intact. Bring us up to speed as to what's going on there.
Well, so, we've been working with the folks at the Christmas lighting. They are actually responsible for a lot of what you see around there as far as the lights and the hanging decorations and whatnot. As a matter of fact, everybody probably remembers the early morning breakfast that they have around the 4th.
Mm-hmm.
The majority of those proceeds are for the lights and all of the decorations. Roberta Christensen and her gang. And so we asked that because they are a major contributor, we're actually helping them out as their event. That if anybody wants to help out with the replacement of that it is mailed into those folks. And I believe the address is 813-6.
Okay.
And they will get that, and we will assist them. And as a matter of fact, I was visiting with Roberta yesterday, and she has already been looking, and she found some on the East Coast, and I have been looking. We've found some that would work, I think, as a good replacement. And for right now, that's about where we're at with it.
Okay, Roger, I want to clarify something that you just said a minute ago. You gave the address, possibly for donations, of which I will send a donation from my company. I'm that committed to helping replace the baby Jesus in the manger. 813 6th Street in Rupert. But what is the title on the letter? Do we send it to Roberta, or what do we do as far as the title?
Christmas Lighting Committee.
Okay.
Is who that would be going to, because like I say, we usually when there's a function like this, the city of Rupert just assists, and that's what we are providing in this. So it's these individuals that we would be assisting that, and also, like I had said yesterday, we have to look at some means of showing that this is not going to happen again.
Right.
We're going to have to put some plexiglass up, or, there has been individuals that have jokingly said, this is just enough of this, and we're going to have a hot wire in. And obviously, we're not going to do that. But like you said, there's that much interest in it. And we're going to assist in any way that we can.
Roger, is this indicative of the times that we're living in, the anti-Christian times, the no respect for Christmas, the no respect for the real meaning of Christmas? I want you to kind of give me your personal thoughts on this.
We sure wouldn't hope so. I mean, we don't want to see anything like this happen, and we would rather it see as a prank or something like that. I wouldn't want to go and venture into some anti-religious beliefs or anything like that, because that just hurts everybody's heart when they even think about something like that. We all read the news. We all know that it's out there. We don't want it around where we're at. Obviously, it just seems to cause problems. So I hope it has nothing to do with that. But, like I said, we feel that we have to shield ourselves now and everything that's up there. So those are the measures that I think that we're going to have to look at.
Will this be a negative effect on the Christmas city and the great lighting ceremonies and all the different displays and everything? Is this going to create a big negative and worry attitude about maybe something else like this happening with another display?
No, I really don't think so. Like I said, it's not just that scene that we are looking at. We are looking at other scenes and other decorations around just as a precaution. We're going to be bringing Santa Claus in on the Friday after Thanksgiving, and he's going to light up everything, and we're going to shoot fireworks off, and we are going to go about the enjoyment as if nothing ever happened. We're not going to let it affect us one little bit.
Well, I said I would contribute. I know others that have called my program and said they would contribute. So I'm going to read the address again. The Christmas Lighting Committee at 813 6th Street in Rupert. And that's the address to send any check or donation to replace the manger scene, correct?
Yes, sir, that is correct. And like you said, we've had quite a few inquiries about it, and we just are thrilled about that. Once again, we live in a hometown environment, and instances like this is when it's really showing, and we're thrilled just to have the interest, like yourself, into helping us out with it.
Let me ask you this. If there's a overflow of some of the money for the repurchase of a baby Jesus, may I ask if the overage of the money could please go towards a reward system to find out who did this deed?
And I'm going to have to refer that to Roberta Christensen and her crew. I do not know. I couldn't answer that. I mean, I'm sure that whatever the wishes would be, that's where the money would be headed towards, but I couldn't answer that honestly, Zeb.
All right, well, you're a straight-up guy, and I can't tell you how much I respect you. You were right on time, Johnny on the spot, to call back this morning, and I will do my part, and I ask others to do their part, of the people that called me, and send that money over there. I don't care if it's Rupert, I don't care if it's Boise, I don't care if it's Coeur d'Alene. When this kind of thing happens, we have to let people know that the real meaning of the Christmas season is the birth of Jesus Christ, and I will not stand by and let a nativity scene be pillaged like yours was over in Rupert.
I couldn't agree more with you, sir.
All right, sir. Thank you for your call. Appreciate it.
Thank you very much. Have a great day.
All right, thank you. Once again, I'm going to urge people to get involved, and I know there was quite a few of my good friends that called on the air and afterwards, and they said, we'd like to contribute towards the repurchase of that baby Jesus for the nativity scene. I'll give you the address again, please. I don't want the money sent to me. No. I'll send my check, you send your check to the Christmas Lighting Committee at 813 6th Street in Rupert. And I'm going to say this out of memory. I could be wrong on the zip code. What is it? 83350. And send that to them right away, because I think this is a very worthwhile cause. I know I'm going to send my check, and I hope you send yours. I can't stand that kind of vandalism. It's got to be stopped. All right, calls are welcome. 436-2244, 1-866-927 4587. Don't forget Cameron and Siemens Insurance, Highway 24, right on the road going into Rupert. You better believe it, for all your life insurance, your health insurance, your retirement planning, employee benefits, all of this and so much more, by people that are really dedicated and responsive to your needs and want to help you. Call for an appointment today at 436-4424. Cameron and Siemens Insurance, Highway 24 in Rupert. Professionals that really help you. And also, man, I'll tell you what, I know a business that it's been fun working with them. It has been such a gas to work with these folks, because they're a lot of fun, and they helped us get started riding four-wheelers. Man, I'm telling you, we bought our four-wheelers over there. Greatest thing ever. Let's ride. 270 Highway 24 between Rupert and the World. Oh, my goodness, yes. They're open Monday through Friday, 9 to 6, Saturdays 9 to 5, and they've got all the closeout prices on the 2016 four-wheelers and side-by-sides, new ones coming in, and all the new snow machines, all the accessories. Great service department. What are you waiting for? Get over there right now. Let's ride. 270 Highway 24 between Rupert and the World, and yes, it is true. This is where the fun is sold. Right now, where did all these dogs come from anyway? Holy smokes. We got dogs running all over the place. And here is the main dog catcher. Good morning, Minidoka Animal Control. My friend, your friend, Ken Mort. Good morning.
Good morning, Zeb. How are you today?
Peachy.
Well, that's good to hear.
Yes, my neighbor always says that. Hello?
Are you staying warm?
You know, I got to tell you something. I cannot sleep without the window being closed. And at about 2 o'clock this morning, my fat, chubby little body said, maybe we'd better put another blanket on the bed, because it was getting a little frosty in there.
Oh, yes, it was. I know exactly how you feel.
Anyhow, what's going on in the world of doggies?
Well, today we would like to feature Nellie.
Nellie.
She is a 6 to 7 year old pit bull, brindle. She's a very sweet girl and has been getting some training over the last 6 months. A gentleman wound up getting her from somebody that he knew that got into some trouble. And unfortunately, this gentleman is no longer able to keep her, so he brought her into us, knowing that we could find her a good home. But he's working with her. She knows how to sit, stay. She does good on a leash. She's good with other animals as long as you introduce them properly. Matter of fact, she started sleeping with this gentleman's inside cat at night. So she does great. She's been started on house training. Hasn't had an accident in the house for several weeks now. Other than when you do leave her alone for a long period of time, she will decide to go in and say, you know what, I'm going to leave you a surprise for leaving me alone. But I mean, they've been working with that. She weighs 55 pounds. Like I say, she is a very sweet girl, and if anybody's interested in her, they can contact our facility at 438-2200. My cell phone at 670-7268, or Deb Hines with Hayburn's Animal Control at 670-4348.
Now, did you say the dog's name was Nellie, right?
Yep.
And what kind of a dog is it again?
She is a Brindle Pit Bull.
Brindle Pit Bull. And a sweetheart.
Oh, yes, she is. I mean, just loving. I mean, I vaccinated her when she was brought in this morning. The gentleman said that as far as he knew, she had never been vaccinated, so wanted to make sure she got vaccinated. We did that. I mean, and most of the time after I give them the wormer, they're like, don't want to come near me because the stuff tastes nasty. Well, she come right back over, sat down at my feet, and just wanted love. I mean, she doesn't care. She's actually protective of her home and children. Matter of fact, this gentleman has a young daughter, and Nellie was sleeping on his daughter's bed. He went in to check on his daughter, and she popped up, not knowing who it was coming in there in the dark, and started barking and growling. Didn't actually attack anybody, but just started barking and growling, saying, "Hey, you're interrupting my little girl's sleep, so back off."
You know, that is something right there that is so hard to find, and that is I think, a real prime example of a dog that could be so good for a family situation, especially in today's age when you're worried about protection for your kids. Nothing better than a dog that's going to light up the room with his fangs saying, "Hey, dude, you're in the wrong place."
Exactly, and that's the thing. The pit bull itself has gotten a bad rap over the years because of the dog fighting stuff and people teaching them to be vicious. When in all actuality, the pit bull was originally bred to be a nanny dog.
Yeah,
and to take care of the kids, to protect the family. I mean, that's what they were originally bred for. But then they realized that this is a strong dog, so they started using them for pulling carts. And then they thought, okay, well, you know what? They can do that. Let's teach them how to fight, and let's make money off of them fighting. Which there's where they started getting this bad rap and everything. I mean, it's just that they actually, with the proper upbringing and training and everything, they are amazing animals.
You know, it's just so disgusting what human beings have done to certain animals. Pit bulls, a good example. And going back to the Michael Vick and the dog fighting and everything else, I have no time or patience for those people.
And neither do I. I mean, I or anybody that does that, I mean, I have no respect for them. In my opinion, I'd like to put them in the ring with one of the dang dogs and let them just tear them up and see how they like it.
Yeah, kind of a good thought.
That's just how I perceive it. But I mean, I'm gonna do what's right by the law, and if I catch somebody doing it, I'm gonna have them prosecuted to the full extent of the law.
Amen. Amen. I know you. I've known you for 40 years, and what you say is the truth. I respect that. Now, what about any other dogs that you have there that maybe people need to call on and check and see if they'll fit their family situation?
We just shipped out on everything that we had available.
What happened to the Golden Lab, Ken? The Golden Lab that I forgot to call about.
Actually, she got adopted.
Oh dear!
And we had a gentleman that contacted us and was wound up coming in and fell in love with her, and she wound up going to a home and is just in hog heaven.
Oh my goodness! No, dog heaven, not hog heaven.
Dog heaven.
Yeah, there you go. Ken, we're close to Thanksgiving. We won't be on the air with you next week. Do you have anything that you want to remind people of after the Thanksgiving break?
Well, weather is getting colder out there. You need to make sure you're taking extra care of your furry friends. Make sure that you've got plenty of food and water out there for them. Make sure they've got a good warm place to get in out of the weather if you've got them outside. Annette, with the temperatures dropping below freezing, Annette, splurge a little bit. Go down and spend $15-20 on a heated water bowl so that the water don't freeze, so that they've got something to drink while they're outside, because you still need, even in the wintertime, plenty of liquids to help keep your body temperature up and keep it from having freezing to death and everything. So.
Absolutely. Ken Mort, Minidoka Animal Control, my friend, and does a great job. He's dog's best friend right there, doing a great job. Thanks, Ken. Where'd all these dogs come from anywhere, buddy? Thank you. Oh, Officer Ken Mort, Minidoka Animal Control. Does a great job. Nice guy, too. Okay. Hey, by the way, we want to remind you, too, about our friend Tim Vaughn. Oh, at Streamline Precision, they want to work for you. Hey, if you're thinking of remodeling or building new structures, Streamline Precision, they specialize in dairy parlors, free stalls. They can build it all. All you have to do is so simple. Call Tim Vaughn at 431-7314 for your no-cost analysis and design. He works with you. And right now is a great time to get buildings built before next spring. Urgent. Get it taken care of. Streamline Precision. Tim Vaughn, 431-7314. It's Thursday. Yep. You know what that means. It's time to go over to Rita and visit with a lovely lady that knows all about politics. Rita Ramsey, good morning, my dear.
Good morning. How are you today?
Well, I got to tell you, and I think you and I are going to strike an accord of agreement on this. I've had enough. I've had enough, Rita, with these pathetic little crybaby imbeciles that call themselves students, and now they got to go into crying rooms, and they've got to pet ponies and have hot chocolate, and then go back out on the streets and burn and create havoc with private property. What's going on here?
Well, I hate to sound like an echo chamber for what I said before, but it all boils down to parents and accountability. The thing of it is, those kids that are acting like second graders ought to be going back to second grade and learn how, over again, to be a productive citizen instead of just crybabies, because that's all they're doing. I can't believe in my wildest dreams why parents have not stepped in and started taking control of their minors. They're acting like minors. They're acting like little second and third graders that need to be headed in the right direction and say, you either do this right or you're not going to have any privileges. Now, what do you choose?
Yeah, but Rita, wait a minute. Help me just a minute. When I went to college, between 18 and 22 years of age, I was on my own. I mean, it was my deal. I was my own man. I had to fend for myself. I worked in 3 different jobs to put myself through college. I didn't sit on a street corner. I didn't cry. I didn't need a petting pony. I didn't need hot chocolate. I didn't need a crying room at the university. What in the world happened to our society?
Well, it came down to one thing, and that is when we started giving kids trophies for participating and making them feel like, oh, no matter how bad you still did okay, and that type of thing, instead of saying, you know what, you've got a challenge, and it's going to be, you're going to have to go out and do your best, and you're going to have to compete, and it's not going to be fun. And every time you feel like you're going to fail, just say, you know what, I can do better, and you just keep on going and try until you get it done. And by us giving participation trophies and then not marking, remember several years ago, a number of years ago, probably even 10 or 15 now, when we couldn't mark their pages with red because it made them feel bad that they got red marks on their work that wasn't correct. And we've never made them take accountability for their actions and taught them that, hey, when things aren't going so well, just keep on going and stick in there, and you'll do fine. Instead of saying, oh, it doesn't matter if you said 2 and 2 makes 5. Well, you get a star for trying, and we just won't worry about it.
You know, though, Rita, I said earlier, first hour, I hope you were listening, that this cancer that's growing has got to stop. I don't care if they have to take in the water cannons. I don't care if they have to unleash the batons, the billy clubs, but you cannot allow these people to destroy businesses, private enterprise businesses, where their insurance are going to escalate, they're going to be out of business, they're going to lose daily trade. You can't allow this anymore in this country over a bunch of sobbing crybabies that never have had a job and probably didn't vote.
Well, that's exactly right, and until people start taking them to task over it. And I mean, we had a kid working for us, it's been 15 15 or more years ago. And you know, one thing somebody says, well, so how do you like it? Well, they never tell me I'm doing really good. It's like, do we need to tell you you're doing really good? You get a paycheck on Friday. That's what tells you if you're doing good or not.
Amen.
That's your reward.
Amen.
But, you know, everybody just thinks that they've got to have somebody saying, oh, you do such good work. We just so appreciate you. It's like, you know what? You don't need to do that. You just need to go about, do your stuff. If you feel like what you've done is good, that's all that matters, and just keep going instead of having to have it validated by somebody that's just following you around to prop you up. And so don't be discouraged. It's going to be okay, because everything isn't going to be okay, and there's going to be a big fight, and there's big competition, and you just have to go out there and do what you can do and do your best. And that's how you succeed, instead of having somebody with a crutch to carry along and say, well, I'll pick you up in my wheelbarrow and get you across the line.
Yeah, amen. You know, there is something that I wanted to discuss with you this morning that, wow, I learned about this maybe 2-3 days ago with some of my sources back in Washington, D.C., and they told me, be prepared to get some information on Keith Ellison, the left-wing congressman that's a Muslim, that has had ties to the Nation of Islam, has had ties to Louis Farrakhan, and not a kind of a guy that you want in a leadership position high up in American politics. Guess what? He might end up getting the chairmanship job of the Democratic National Party. What's going on here?
Well, if they do that, that will just show their left tendencies and that they have no intention of being Americans. I'm okay that he's a congressman and that he's a representative, and I'm okay if he represents the people that he's got, but to put him in a national position, he does not have the views that the majority of people have. And if they actually do confirm him on that, they're just saying, we're too afraid to stand up and say, you know, it just might not be a good choice. We'll find somebody who might represent the majority of us a little bit better, and you keep going on the representation for the people that you represent, and that's good enough.
You know, the left right now in this country, they've taken some turns since the election that I honestly didn't think they'd stoop this low. I mean, from people calling and threatening members of the Electoral College on changing their vote, to people saying they're going to do whatever they can to disavow that Trump won the presidency, basically underlying the fact that there may be more violence. You know, we're really living in some very divisive times right now, Rita.
Well, we are, and they're just a little bit more verbal about it, but we had this same thing happen in 2000 when George W. Bush beat out Al Gore, and there were the hanging chads, and you know, this and that and the other, and the popular vote, and we should this and that and the other, and we're going to take it to court, and they had it tied up in court for a really long time. Right now it's playing out in the media, but this is no different than what they did then. Everybody's just got a voice, and everybody's got a place on Facebook or Twitter where they can amplify what they're feeling, but unless we get rid of the Constitution, and there are some people that are wanting to do that and calling to do that, we are going by the way that it was set up by our founders, and that's the law.
Rita, I had the great opportunity the other day to talk to some people at the Daily Caller and also Media Research Center. And I asked them point blank blunt, because the person I was talking to knows very well about the cabinet choices and what's going on behind the scenes with the Trump of filling those names for the various cabinet positions. And I said, wait a minute, we're hearing stories a week after the election that the Trump campaign is in such disarray over this. And he stopped me and he said, wait a minute, Zeb, don't you realize that they're way ahead of schedule? They're doing everything in a very itemized, very cautious list. They're way ahead of any other presidential campaign in the recent past, in the last 3-4 decades, as a matter of fact, as far as getting people vetted, finding out more about them, and putting their names on the list. He said they're actually way advanced to where they should be. Your response?
Actually, they are. The thing of it is it sounds like they're in disarray because they leak names out, or somebody tosses somebody out there name-wise, and I don't know whether they actually want to get feedback and see if it kind of goes over like a lead balloon, or if it's something like, oh, yeah, that'd be really good. There's so much media out there that it just puts all of it out front, as in the past. We weren't privy to a lot of that type of stuff until it was like, okay, this is who we're going to have, and it's for sure, and the appointment's been made, and they've accepted, and it's all over and done with, instead of tossing 2 or 3 names out. Well, should we have John Bolton, or should we have Rudy Giuliani for Secretary of State, and this type of thing. So I think that they are. There's a few things that are kind of concerning that we ought to be worried about, and one of those things that kind of concerns me somewhat is that Trump had actually asked to have his kids get national security clearances. That should not be happening.
Well, that's not a definite yet, and I've done some research on that. I'm not going to take the time now because we have a caller, but I want to come back and discuss more about this cabinet because there's excellent people involved in possibly being the choices. Caller, quickly, you're on the air.
Yeah, a real red flag showed up this morning. I guess Trump was meeting with former Secretary Henry Kissinger. Henry Kissinger was the one responsible for getting the Shah of Iran deposed and putting in the Ayatollah Khomeini. He also forced out Ian Smith in Rhodesia, and of course the communist Mugabe and Zimbabwe now. They used to feed Africa, now can't. But anyway, Henry Kissinger couldn't even pass security clearance. He used to be a KGB agent, and that really threw up a red flag. So I'm not sure what's going on there, but if you got some insight on that, but I can guarantee you Henry Kissinger has been an enemy in this country since he was Secretary of State way back when.
All right, we'll talk about that.
A little bit about that, if you would.
All right, thank you very much. I can tell you this, that of the sources of people that I've talked to, Rita, before I have you respond to that call, they said that Trump was opening the door up for a multiplicity of opinions and finding out all different basics of fact as to what was done in the past and what needs to be done in the future, and that's some of the reasons why people like Henry Kissinger were invited for these meetings. Your response?
Actually, I think that it's good to talk to people who have been in those positions, and I also think that it's good for them to put out a number of different names and see how they pan out with the media and with other people. I listen to talk radio all day, so I listen to a number of different people. And when some of the names are put out, they talk about them. They, say, well, these are their qualifications. This is what's going on. He's this, he's that, he's the other. People call in and ask and say, well, what about so-and-so, and doing various different things. So I think it's a good way to see if you can collect a little bit of opinion on maybe what they would do, or maybe be reminded, like Henry Kissinger, of some of his ties and the things that happened with, within his realm of authority. And so I think that it is good. Like I said before, in many years past, we haven't had any kind of input or heard any mumblings about it. If you weren't in the inner circle in Washington, you just didn't hear anything until it was all over and done with.
Right. Names, and I've got to do a weather forecast in a minute, but when you start hearing names about Rudy Giuliani, and on the other side of the spectrum, General Jack Keane and John Bolton and many, many more. I got to tell you something, Rita. I've got a lot of respect for many of the people that are being looked at and vetted possibly for certain positions. I'm optimistic about what might happen.
Well, I am too, and I hope that they'll take into consideration where some of those people really shine. I'm not so sure that Rudy Giuliani would shine in the Secretary of State position, but I know that he would do well in Homeland Security.
Absolutely.
And some of those other things.
Absolutely.
So I think that it's good that they're putting a bunch of different things out there.
No, I think what you just said, I'd have to agree with and concur. Homeland Security, the man is involved in basically Homeland Security. I mean, he's been in the security business for many, many years. Not a better choice. I think you're absolutely spot on right there. I've got to get a weather forecast, and then we'll come back and talk more to Rita in just a moment. Right now, the weather brought to you by Pope, Phillips, Oaks, Goodwin, and Company. CPAs, Curtis Pope, Todd Phillips, Rob Oakes, Mitch Goodwin, and Lyden Crane. They've been providing accounting services to the Mini-Cash area way over 50 years. The best of tax return preparation, tax planning, bookkeeping services, retirement planning. Yes, don't waste a minute. You call them and be sure and let them help you. Absolutely the best with 2 locations, 1710 Overland and Burley and 625th Street in Rupert. Pope, Phillips, Oaks, Goodwin, and Company. Here's Gina with the weather.
It's feeling a little bit more like the winter months, as it's going to be a little bit on the breezy side for today and cold. Partly cloudy skies, winds out of the west right around 15 miles an hour is what we're looking at. High of 41 for today, tonight low of 19 tomorrow. Partly cloudy skies, winds out of the southeast right around 12 miles an hour. High of 44 with an overnight low of 27. For Saturday and Sunday, partly to mostly cloudy skies. Highs are going to be in the mid-50s, lows in the low 30s. And then as we go back to work on Monday, cloudy skies and 49. Yesterday's high was 45. The overnight low was 32. That is your weather for Zeb at the Ranch.
Thank you very much, Gina. Don't forget, close to the end of the year and tax time around the corner. You better get a hold of Pope, Phillips, Oaks, Goodwin, and Company CPAs today. The very best of professionals working and serving you. Rita, I know you're going to be probably heartbroken over this, and so I'm going to try to break this to you gently, but Nancy Pelosi might be bumped out of her position. I know you're sad about that, but I'd like your comments.
Oh, that would just break my heart. Actually, I think she has outlived her usefulness in Congress and especially in a leadership position. I think that she doesn't even seem like she's all there all the time. It makes me wonder if she has a little bit of a dementia or something. Some of the things that she says and does is just so kind of out there. It's like, do you really understand what you're talking about? So I think that it would be good to have somebody else and maybe get rid of one of the old yard dogs that she's been representing.
Well, I know Ohio Congressman Tim Ryan has been pushed to the forefront by the Democrats to take over that minority leadership position. And I was shocked this morning on a couple of phone calls I made that the Democrats, the animosity that's brewing against Nancy Pelosi, I mean, she might even lose her stipend that she gets every month for being a poster girl for Botox. I mean, she might lose it all.
Well, she needs to bow out. She's probably in her mid to upper 70s, and I just don't think she's really with it anymore. She needs to bow out and let them put somebody else in that position.
How afraid are you? I haven't talked to you about this in the last couple of weeks, but I think right now after the election it absolutely should be discussed. There is a major movement by the left, and I'm afraid it's going to grow like a cancer about the Electoral College and drastic changes or dumping it. I can't wait to hear what your remarks are.
Well, they have to go through a process to change the Constitution and everything else, change the laws. I don't see it getting a lot of traction. However, it really concerns me with us having the majority in the House and the Senate and then also the Republicans in the presidency, in the fact that they haven't done anything when they had clout and now they've really got clout. Are they still going to sit on their hands, or are they going to actually get up and go and get something done? I read an article about Governor Scott Walker, and he said, you know what, it's time for the Republicans to shut up or put up, and they've got clout that they can do it. They need to go in there and start doing the people's business instead of just sitting around and waiting. And he feels optimistic about it. I hope that's the case. But when they start bringing forth that kind of stuff, you can just almost bet that there's a big handful of Republicans that would vote for those who would be opposed to the Constitution. And so it just makes me really concerned that they could actually do something like that.
You know, I'm really optimistic because you mentioned Scott Walker, and a lot of people thought that after he dropped out of the race to be a nominee possibly for the presidency, that his career would take him back to Wisconsin, he'd fade away. But evidently the other governors like him too because they just elected him as head of the National Governors Conference, and I hope that attitude prevails. But I want you to tell me and my audience, I've already come up with my own thoughts, it's not just the senators and congressmen that we need to light a fire under, it's us. We have got to start demanding more of our elected representatives and hold literally their feet to the fire. Wouldn't you agree?
Well, I do, and that's a big problem because you've got a lot of people who actually have the attitude of, well, we elected, we're a Republican, now it's over with, and we can just not have to worry about politics anymore, and that's not true. We are going to have to keep a close watch on them because there is so much money and corruption and stuff infiltrated within the ranks that you could get almost anything if you turn your back and you don't keep a close watch on it. And that doesn't matter whether it's here, Washington, or in Boise. We've got to keep an eye on them and keep reminding them that we're expecting them to do the people's business, not just what looks good and lucrative for their pocketbook.
You know, and to go one step further about the liberal left and the Democrats and some of the sleaze that's going on. Here's a headline. It says right here, a Rutgers professor got so irate about Trump and the GOP that police had to go to his home. This is a professor. Had to go to his home, and after visiting with him, they took him in for a psychological evaluation because he said he was going to start shooting all the white people he could see. These are the kinds of lefts that are in power of leadership at schools with our kids. This is nuts.
Well, it is, and I think when you get somebody with that, the board of directors at that university need to say, time for a timeout. And put him on some type of leave, get him out of there. Because if he gets away with it, you'll have a bunch of others who go, well, he got away with it, I can too. And they'll start spewing their vitriol and hate, and it'll just grow and grow and grow. And it is like a cancer, and it's got to be totally cut out to get rid of it.
What's going on with the Tea Party?
Absolutely nothing.
Okay, thank you.
The last meeting that I had 2 people show up besides me.
Oh, no.
They think that everything's fine and good because we got a Republican elected. I'm at the point of probably terminating that deal, and we won't have it anymore. I don't need to go and spend 2 hours every second Thursday night entertaining myself. I've got plenty of things I can do, and I get plenty of information.
Wow, I couldn't agree with you more, and people have just got to get involved. You know, I think whether it's that, the Tea Party, or whether it's something else local or something else state or something else national, you know, as much as I've traveled around this country, and I think I travel more than most, it's the apathy. Apathy is just really, it's really worrisome.
Well, it is, and that's what has got us in this position that we're in now, and people don't really even realize it because they won't look in the mirror and say, what have you been doing to help with the cause?
Yeah.
They won't self-evaluate. They won't get informed. They hear little bits and pieces of news, and it's the wrong news, and so instead of saying, you know, maybe I ought to hear it from 2 or 3 different sources to see if I'm really hearing the right thing, or study up on it, or you know, visit with people and see what's going on, it's kind of like, oh, yeah, this is good, okay, I don't need to worry about it anymore, and off they go, and they've just turned over their future, their kids' future, and their grandkids' future to somebody else who isn't really trustworthy.
You know, and one of the things I got to tell you, I'm almost out of time, but I think you remember this. It was about a year or so ago. I had a call on the air, and this guy says, well, Zeb, why don't you do this? Zeb, why don't you call so-and-so? And why don't you complain about that? And I blew my stack. I'm on the radio every day trying to put forth the information. I'm on the radio calling these people. I'm after the program, and yet the general public says, well, Zeb, why don't you? Hey, why don't you get involved, Mr. Caller? That's the problem, Rita.
Well, that's just it. It's called talk radio, not because you come on the radio and you just talk the whole time. It's that people call in, you get information from various people, people locally call in and say, what's your opinion on this, or this is what I thought about that, and you get a lot of different views and points of view, and people that will participate in that can learn from each other. But when you just got somebody expecting you to do everything and just give them the information, how do you know you're giving them what they need? How do they know that you're giving them what is real and factual? If you don't check it out, check 2 or 3 different sources and kind of watch what the trend is and what's really going on. You don't know.
I got to run, but Rita, God bless you. Great discussion this morning. Thank you very much, Rita Ramsey, and have a great week. And by the way, next week, Thursday, we won't be on the air. Thanksgiving to you, your business, and your family. Happy Thanksgiving.
You too. Thanks, Zeb.
All right, take care. Thank you very much. About this time of the morning, oh, yeah, you know where I'm headed. I get a little hungry. I ate at 4 o'clock this morning and starving to death. Well, I know some great places to go. Let's start things off with the AC Drive-In, 601 East Main in Burley. Oh, those pumpkin shakes and marshmallow shakes and black raspberry shakes and a chicken fried steak sandwich and the fries and the special sauce. Oh, boy, knock my socks off delicious. The AC Drive-In, 601 East Main in Burley. Well, how about Taco Bandito? Oh, yeah. 2301 Overland in Burley. Now, listen to this. They've got the new pork burritos with beans and pork and rice and sour cream and cheese. That is fantastic. And then for dessert, have yourself a pumpkin empanada. Oh, my goodness. Hurry up. Get in there. Taco Bandito, 2301 Overland in Burley. And now moving back over to Burgers, Etc. I'm drooling. Burgers, Etc., 124 South Oneida and Rupert and 700 Overland and Burley with corn dogs and burritos, only 99 cents after 3 p.m. Take 10, thank you. Oh, and they've got delicious soup, a different flavor, Monday through Friday. Bread bowl soup or in a cup. Oh, wow. All the delicious burgers, everything at Burgers, Etc. 124 South Oneida and Rupert and 700 Overland in Burley. And Steve-O's at 290 South, 600 west of Hayburn. They've got the buffalo burgers, made with real buffalo, yeah, and a different soup every day, and special new desserts. Oh, great people serving you. You're going to love it. Open Monday to Saturday, 11 to 9. Steve-O's, 290 South, 600 west of Hayburn. Food made the way you love it. And those are just a few great places to go if you're hungry and starving to death. I am. Well, I got to run. We're going to have the news from CBS coming up right now, and then after the news, we've got the Cache County School Days, Business Salute. Going to leave a little early today because Lunch Bunch is coming up at Denny's at 11:30. Here's Wheels with a little music, and then CBS News. It's time to go to the phone line, and with us we have a teacher from Raft River Elementary, Angie Spencer, the 5th grade teacher. Good morning, Angie. How are you?
I'm doing great. How are you today, Mr. Bell?
Oh, don't say Mr. Bell. You make me feel like an antique on the shelf. Just call me Zeb.
All right, I'll call you Zeb on the radio, but if I was to see you in person and students were around, it would be Mr. Bell.
I know, because I'm really old and gray. I understand. I understand that across the country, we have seen, and very discouragingly so, a lack of participation by parents with parent-teachers conference, and the kids go to school, and mom and dad couldn't care less, and when they have meetings with the teachers, they don't show up. But wait a minute. Something different is going on over at Raft River. Tell us what happened.
Well, I do love my little school that I teach at. It's a great school. We had parent-teacher conference the first week in November, and we had about an 83% parent attendance, which is pretty good for our little school. We have 199 kids in grades K through 6. And in my class, I had 100% parent attendance.
Wow.
And there's a couple of reasons why we think our attendance is so great at parent-teacher conference. One is because our lovely secretary, Miss Janica Rose, sets up our appointments for us. So we send these out about a week ahead of time. Parents have a scheduled 10-minute time to come in and visit with the teacher. That week gives them a chance to let us know if they need to schedule it different. And then we also provide translators here for our Spanish-speaking families so that they know that when they come in, they can understand what we're saying, and they can have someone explain to us what they need to have said.
Well, let me ask you this, if I may, Angie. 10 minutes. Really, can you cover everything and really talk about the child's progress or lack of progress in 10 minutes?
Oh, sure. Sure you can. I really like to have great communication with my parents, not just at parent-teacher conference, but throughout the whole year. There's a lot of great apps that teachers are using now, which allows them to have texting back and forth between parents and the teachers. We have an open door policy at our school where parents are encouraged to come in, stop in, ask questions. We have Power School across the Cassia County School District where parents can go in and look at their kids' grades. There's every opportunity for parents to be involved with their kids. So when they come in for parent-teacher conference, it's mostly a 10-minute quick clip review of their grades, their scores. We give them samples of their children's work that we've collected over that quarter. And I really feel like that 10 minutes is plenty of time to go over what we need to. And if it's not, hey, we're open for people coming in at a different time, following up with them. And if they don't come to parent-teacher conference, we reach out to them by phone, by email. We still want to make sure we engage those parents in that conversation about their student. Oh, and we love to have the kids come in with their parents.
Oh, really? Well, now that might be not the best situation for little Johnny and Susie, especially if there's been some red F's on the top of the paper. I can imagine that they may be squirming in their seats a little bit sitting there with mom and dad.
Well, do you think a little bit of squirming maybe pays off in the end run if they are there and they're able to be accountable and own up to the fact that, yeah, maybe they should have turned some more work in. Yeah, maybe they aren't doing that homework. Maybe some of the work they could be doing better. You know, I think teachers can handle that in a professional manner with parents right there and set up a plan and engage that child right then and say, what could you do to be better?
I couldn't agree more. You've given me a new perspective on teaching today because we hear so much negativity. But what are you doing right as compared to a lot of other school districts, whether it's L.A., Chicago, whatever, across the country where they literally have to beg, borrow, or steal to try to get parents even to give them a minute of time?
Well, you know, that's a tough question because in the day and age that we live in, there are a lot of homes where both parents have to work. And, you know, even at the end of the day for me, when I get out of here, I'm tired when I get home. But first and foremost, my kids come first in my life. So I always ask the hard questions of, do you have homework? What can I do to help you get your homework done? If there's a problem or there's miscommunications, then I do reach out to my children's teachers. You know, we talked about this at a faculty lunch we had the other day. I asked the teachers, what would you have me say if I talk about this on the radio? And the number one thing we came up with was, this is like the secrets that teachers want parents to ask when they come to parent-teacher conference. We want parents to say, hey, what can I do at home to help? That opens that door for us to say, we think that they could, you know, really do well with multiplication and division flashcards done at home, or we think if you could have them read to you 10 extra minutes each night. We're more than willing to give those ideas. We don't want to overwhelm the parent, but if they ask, we love that communication. Another thing is we want the parents to ask us if they don't understand how we're grading, why the student got the grade they've got, if they're not understanding the math that we're sending home or the language that we're sending home. We want those good conversations because we can't make things better if no one will say.
Absolutely. Have you had a lot of success stories, maybe with a borderline student that went to the parent-teacher conference with their parents, and after the meeting was over, you saw a real shoot-for-the-sky type attitude with the more wanting to try harder in the classroom?
Oh, yes. I mean, there's a couple of those every parent-teacher conference. I have a couple of Spanish kids in my class right now where the child speaks English and Spanish, but the parents speak only Spanish. Mm-hmm. And when they had come in, we had a translator here because that's really good to have a translator. I have fifth graders, and I can trust them pretty well to know that they're going to tell their parents what I want them to say, but there's those fine lines there where maybe they're not going to say exactly why they're getting that C or that B in a subject. So it's nice to have a translator here who I know is going to effectively translate. But I had one family in it for parent-teacher conference, and at the end of the conference, the parents in Spanish told me how much they appreciated me being their son's teacher this year. He loves to come to school because he feels loved, and he's never said that before.
Wow.
So I think a big part of teaching, personally for me, is that I love these kids. I want them all to be successful. I know they all can be successful. And so if I show them I love them by my word and my deed, then naturally they will rise up to the expectation that I have for them, which is, be great. You can do this. And I see that with this family. The mom telling me he's so excited to come to school. He wants to learn. And that's the icing on the cake for a teacher.
Angie, before I let you go, what you just said a few minutes ago, that they can do this. They can excel. They can have goals. They can reach those goals. The stars and the sky is the limit. What happened to these millennials we're hearing about on TV?
Oh, I don't know. I don't think they graduated from Cassia County schools. That's probably it.
No, but seriously, don't you agree, though, that we've got to instill in these kids that you can do anything, you can be anything, you can attain anything you want to do if you'll put forth the personal responsibility to try?
Yes, I 100% agree with that. I think that a lot of what's happening in the situation with millennials is probably learned behavior. And so where are they learning that behavior? Where are we dropping that ball? Where can we, as a nation, help these kids to prosper, to be successful, to go in the right path in life? I question this all the time, and it really does come down to what's happening in our homes, and that the schools act as a secondary to try to help reinforce good values and encouragement for these kids. And we need that connection between school and home. We can't do it in just one place by ourselves.
No,
we need to use everybody.
I totally agree with you, and it's just too bad we can't clone you and your attitude, because when I listened to these millennials and they were asked direct questions about this, that, or the other, they kind of had a kind of a blank stare come over their face like, well, I don't know, I'm just out here because Bernie invited me, and I don't think Trump should have won, blah, blah, blah. I thought the higher levels of education were to make these kids think for themselves and reach for the stars, but now I'm starting to have second thoughts. I think a lot of it is the professors, a lot of it the school system, but thank God we've got teachers like you.
Zeb, I have to agree with you on a lot of that, but I think that there's also so much good out there with our students right now, and I think the media doesn't cover that good. The good that we see, the successful stories, the kids who are grateful for good teachers, the ones who are propelled towards academic success and lifetime success because of good upbringing in the homes and the help of communities and schools. We don't get to hear those feel-good stories. The media just shows us these other stories, but so it is. We'll press on. We'll keep doing what we do because we love kids.
I like you, and you've got a promise to come back and be on this program. I really enjoyed your conversation with me this morning. Thank you. Angie Spencer, 5th grade teacher from Raft River Elementary, and boy, has she got all of her ducks in a row. I like the way she teaches. Great job. That's, of course, Cassia County School Days for today, brought to you by two great businesses, A Child's World at 1308 Overland in Burley and Ambulatory Surgery Center at 1344 Highland in Burley. Call them at 677-8888. Woo! I enjoyed that conversation. Sharp lady right there. Real quick, I want to remind you, next week, Thanksgiving, and I know of a couple of places where Thanksgiving dinners are going to be provided. Number one, the churches in the Mini-Cache area present Thanksgiving dinner, and it's going to be held this year at the Senior Junction from 11 to 3 at 2421 Overland Avenue in Burley. A free will donation will take place. And then also the free community 15th annual Thanksgiving dinner at the Rupert Elks Dining Hall, presented by Alaska's Best, and the Rupert Elks starts at noon, goes till 4, and that's on Thanksgiving Day. Thank you very, very much. Let's go to the phone line right now, and I'm really excited about having this lady on the phone. She knows everything about interior decorating, everything about carpet and flooring and everything else, and we're going to be talking to Cheney Flooring and Home Design. Hello, Whitney. How are you?
How are you? I haven't talked to you forever.
It's been a long time, and the weather has changed. People are going to be spending a lot more time indoors, and we're right around the corner from Thanksgiving and Christmas. I bet you've got 1,000 ideas on home decorating decor. Go ahead.
I do. Well, I've been thinking a lot about Christmas, and I don't know if it's because the Festival of Trees there earlier this year, and so I've been decorating a lot of Christmas trees to donate. But I've been thinking a lot about how you can decorate for Christmas using decor that you already have in your house. Because a lot of times you're already pinched for cash, and so you don't want to go spend a bunch of money. I've also been thinking about how you can make your home more Christ-centered, if you will, for Christmas. And I like to put my nativity right on my mantle instead of my stockings. Your mantle is the focus, I think, of your house. I think that's a good way to keep everything in focus to what the holiday season is really about.
Absolutely. You know, now in our house, and I'm not trying to brag, it's just the way it is, I think Deanne has, along with what's in my office, we put up like 12 different nativity scenes.
I love that. I love collecting nativity scenes. I think it's so cool.
But, you know... Let me ask you a question there, though, Whitney. Let me ask you a quick...
I have a couple that they can play with, and then I have some that I just, are for display only.
Uh-huh.
So.
Let me ask you a question. Are companies not building or making or manufacturing nativity scenes as much anymore? It seems like they're harder to find.
I've noticed that. I was wanting one that was really glittery and sparkly, and I just haven't been able to find one. In fact, I finally found one at our local Stokes grocery store because they have lots of decor, and I was like, oh, my heck, that is awesome. I love it. It's beautiful. I know that Deseret Book in Twin Falls also has tons of nativities, and they have some from different countries, which is also cool. So if you're a collector, take a look in there. They have different, from Africa or Sweden, they have different ones. It's pretty cool.
Now, you mentioned earlier in your conversation that people have limited budgets and they want to decorate for the holidays and keep it festive for Christmas. How can they do that?
Okay, well, I have some ideas. You ready?
Yep.
So, I think it's really cool when you have 2 wreaths that you put on your front door. It just adds a lot of green to your entrance, and it's an eye catcher, especially if you're driving by. And I think that's pretty inexpensive. If you don't have a wreath, you can always find a really inexpensive one at Walmart and decorate it with bulbs or whatever whatever Christmas stuff you have laying around the house. Just hot glue that on there, put it up on your door. And like I said, 2 wreaths are the way to go this year.
Okay.
The other thing that I was thinking about is a lot of people have fake fruit in their house. And to make it look like it's frostbitten or Jack Frost has come inside, maybe you could sprinkle those with glitter.
Okay.
Make it look snowy. I'm trying to think of some other good ideas that are inexpensive.
What about having your
for your Christmas tree?
Okay.
Vintage bulbs are the thing right now.
Okay.
Sorry, I've got my son in the background yelling.
You know what? That makes it all the better. This is a home program for families, and I heard, is it a little boy or girl?
I know. I'm like, I'm going to beat him. He's only 4, and I've been prepping him. I've got to go on the radio.
No, that's all right. What's his name?
But anyways, the other thing that I've been thinking a lot about, Zeb, is the snow.
Okay.
And snow can mean that you're going to ruin your flooring. And we have some really cool flooring right now that is water resistant. In fact, some of it is water resistant up to 48 hours, which is pretty amazing if you think about it.
Okay.
So if you're ready to redo some flooring, we have the right products to suit not only the season but the entire year and your design.
Well, let me ask you this question. If somebody took a picture of the inside, like their living room or their entryway or anything, and they brought it over to you at Cheney Flooring and Home Design at your address, 1228 Oakley Avenue in Burley, could you help them by looking at the picture?
Sorry, are you there, Zeb?
I am. I asked you a question. If somebody took a picture of their interior of their home, like the living room or the entryway or whatever, and they brought it into your address at 1228 Oakley Avenue in Burley, could you help them by just looking at a picture?
I could. I also do free design consultations. Sometimes I even make home visits. But that's kind of that's the fun part of this business, is I get to help people with colors and textures and design ideas. I like to help make what they're thinking in their mind come together in their own home.
Okay.
And I'm not in the store every single day, but I can, you can schedule to have an appointment with me and I can come in.
All right. Now, quickly, before I run out of time, what are the hours of your company, Cheney Flooring and Home Design? When are you open?
Well, first of all, I want you to mention to look for our blue door. We're on Oakley Avenue,
Yep.
and we are open from 9 to 6 every day, and Saturdays from 10 until 2. So if you live in Twin Falls or places that are a little farther to drive, you can always visit us on a Saturday.
Absolutely. I want to tell you how proud I am to have you folks as our weather sponsor every morning when we start the program. I love the family atmosphere. I love that you say you have whatever you need to make your house a home. You have it right there at Cheney Flooring and Home Design, 1228 Oakley Avenue in Burley. And look for that blue door. Whitney.
Let me poke in really fast. We have Christmas decor, too. So if you're looking for something to spruce up that's inexpensive, come check us out.
We'll do it, and may I be one of the first to wish you and your family a happy Thanksgiving and a Merry Christmas.
Hey, thanks, Zeb. You too.
All right, take care. I like those folks. They are really, really nice people. And I love it when you hear the kids in the background and everything. It just adds to the family situation. They know all about interior decorating, etc., and they are good. Very, very good. Okay, we're going to have the break at the bottom of the hour momentarily and send it over to Wheels. I want to remind you that we're abbreviating the program this morning to the point where right after I do the weather in about 15-20 minutes, I'm going to jump in the old pick-em-up truck and run down to Burley to be a part of Lunch Bunch at 11:30. So we're going to send it back over to Wheels right now, and we will be right back and take some of your calls in just a moment.
And now, back to Zeb at the Ranch on AM 1230 KBAR. To reach Zeb, call 436-2244 or toll free 1-866-927-4587. And now, here is Zeb Bell.
Hi, thank you very much. And it's an open line right now. We'd be more than happy to kind of take some of your opinions for about the next 10-15 minutes about various stories that we've had on the air with us this morning, and or for that matter, for the rest of the week. And thank you. Give us a call at 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. I got to tell you that when I read the newspaper this morning, I broke into a series of chuckles that then turned into one of profound laughter when I was reading a 3-column huge story that was put in the paper this morning by Bob Soika, the chairman of the Twin Falls County Democratic Party. Bob, I got to tell you, that's one of the most humorous pieces I've ever written. It was one of those of ifs. The key words in most of all the writing that he had in the paper this morning was if. If this would have happened, we'd have won. If this would have happened, they'd have won that part of the election. If. It kept going on, if. And then there was one paragraph in there this morning that just cracked me up. It said, obstructionism was the Republican Party's openly declared top national priority since 2008, rather than working for the betterment of the American people. Bob, What are your Democrats doing right now? They're creating all kinds of different firestorms, obstructing the move and transitioning of a new president into the office. How dare you say that? And if you're referring at all to Obamacare since 2008, yes, the Republicans tried to obstruct it. They had no part in writing that absolutely fictitious and malicious piece of legislation. How can you say things? It's absurd. And then it said at the bottom, it said, Idaho Democrats are already working to make 2018 a breakthrough year. They've said that every election. And when Democrats do break through, every Idahoan will be listened to, have representation, and benefit from political cooperation. Well, Bobby, I didn't see that happen when I asked a former Democratic Party leader to come on the program. She hung up the phone on me. So let's not stick your neck out too far. The window might come down on it. Calls are welcome, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. And then you read the paper, and you see some of the really low-class cartoons on the political op-ed pages. Mike Lukovic is a confirmed dyed-in-the-wool liberal, hate Republicans, hate conservatives artist, if you want to call him that. And the one this morning just kind of burned me a little bit, and I'll see what your thoughts are. Picture of a Capitol in the background and a black car. Guy gets out of a car with black glasses on, and behind a tree is a very villainous-looking clown. And the verbiage is, yo, creepy clown, want to be in Trump's cabinet? There are some excellent people that are being interviewed right now for Trump's cabinet, and certainly not the creepy clown type atmosphere that this cartoon portrays. Give me your calls. Come on, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. I want to hear what you have to say. I thought it was really funny in this article by Bob Soika that if this would have happened, if, it just kept going. At least now we don't have to rely on the ifs. We have the positives. Let's build on them. Okay? Calls welcome, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. We'll wrap it up with some of your thoughts. So come on. Give me a call real quick, and we'll see what you have to say this morning before we leave the program. One thing, too, I mentioned this last hour. There are a lot of giving and caring people that are going to help provide Thanksgiving dinners for a lot of people that maybe they don't want to cook at home. Maybe they, quite frankly, don't have the resources, etc. Well, Thanksgiving is going to be a part of sharing with a lot of different locations, a couple of which I have right here. There will be a free community 15th annual Thanksgiving dinner. Everybody's welcome, and it's presented by Alaska's Best. Those are such nice people. And it's going to be at the Rupert Elks Lodge, and that's going to be on Thanksgiving Day from noon until 4, and it's at 85 South, 200 West of Rupert, and you can call for rides or delivery on or before November 23rd, and here's the number, 436-2447, okay? Then another dinner, caller, I'll be right there, Happy Thanksgiving, presented by the churches in the Minicash area, and this is going to be held this year at the Senior Junction at 2421 Overland Avenue in Burley from 11 to 3 on Thanksgiving. Caller, good morning, and thank you for your call.
Morning, Steph. Happy Thanksgiving to you.
Thank you.
Mr. Trump is doing exactly what we was hoping he would do. He's interviewing. He's doing the business type deal where Obama 2 years ago or his first presidency, he put in his friends and cohorts, but Mr. Trump's not doing that. He's going to pick the best of the best, and he's going to place everybody where they need to be, the ones that will back him up. So I feel like that he's doing a good job. Everybody thinks that he's doing it halfway and doing it awful fast, but it's going to take a little time, and I think he's going to do a fantastic job for us. I've got a lot of high hopes for the man.
You know, I do too, and I've got to tell you that some of the names that have been mentioned, like John Bolton and Rudy Giuliani, I think that Rudy is not Secretary of State material, but I do emphasize the fact that I think he would be absolutely the perfect choice for Homeland Security. I think General Jack Keane, the list goes on, of people that know what's going on, know what's wrong in this country, and they know how to correct it.
Well, that's what we need right there, the correction. So, like I said, I've got a lot of high hopes, and the Bears are in for him.
I agree with you. Thank you very, very much for your call. I do appreciate it. Thank you. I appreciate that man's call because, you know, I read some of the left loon material. Well, here it is a week after the election, and everything that Trump is doing, it's in complete disarray. No, it's not in disarray. I mean, I'm not standing up for Trump. Don't get me wrong. But I am standing up that they are way ahead. They being the political machine now that's being formed by the Trump organization and administration. They are doing things the right way. They're interviewing people. They're writing things down. They're finding out personalities. They're finding out perspectives. And they're making the best choices, I believe, for those particular cabinet seats. I mean, there's a lot of great people on those lists. And there's a lot of resumes, my goodness sakes. It would be really hard to make a final distinction as to who's going to take that job. Wow. I mean, when you talk about John Bolton, UN ambassador for the United States, and you talk about Rudy Giuliani and all of his experience, of course, being the mayor of during 9/11 in New York and then having his own security firms across the world, and General Jack Keane, a man that I absolutely respect for his knowledge on what's going on with terror and ISIS. Oh, I mean, those are just a very small portion of the names that are being thrown around. I think we're going to see, this is my own personal opinion, you can debate it, I think we're going to see one of the best formed cabinets for success and protection of this country that we've seen in a long, long period of time. Give me a call if you don't agree. 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. I would appreciate your call. By the way, Wheels, you're by your microphone. Are you going to make it to Lunch Bunch today?
I am. I figured I'd come over for the Thanksgiving/Christmas version that you got going today for Lunch Bunch, and I think it'll be a good day today.
You know, and one thing we want to point out, I know we're way early on this, but I wanted to tell everybody that coming up on December 15th, Wheels, you need to know this too. We're going to be over at Denny's for the broadcast that morning on Thursday, December 15th, and we're going to have the second annual old-fashioned Denny's Christmas. We're going to have great singers, carolers from Oakley High School over there. We're going to have door prizes. Everybody's going to be dressed up for Christmas. It's going to be decorated really, really in an old-style Christmas fashion, and it's going to be fantastic. So we really want to say thank you to Denny's for getting behind and having the second annual Zeb at the Ranch Christmas party on the air on December 15th.
Definitely, and Christmas is definitely one of those years, or not years, one of those times during the year that, you know, you feel the Christmas cheer. And
oh, yeah.
I hope that a lot of people can make it out there for the remote and that everything turns out well.
All right. Well, listen, you have done an outstanding job as the board op and engineer. I just absolutely was blessed when you came on the scene. Oh, we've had our little ruts in the road, but you have done a great job. And I just want to compliment you. But I understand your grandma's going to be there, too.
Well, thank you, and yes, I let her know today that Lunch Bunch is going on, and so she said that she'd meet me there, so it's going to be fun.
All right. Hey, my friend, we're getting ready now to go to the weather, and then I'm going to ask you to do me a favor and play a whole bunch of music leading up to news so I don't get picked up by the cops.
Yes, sir.
Okay, we'll do the weather right now. And the weather brought to you by Scarro's Meats, 331 North Road, Jerome. The number to call, 324-7657. Changing the way we eat, one delicious bite at a time. Scarro's Meats. They are excellent, and they can take your wild game and turn it into a variety of meats, salami, brats, jerky, breakfast sausage, all of this and more. They are changing the way we eat, one delicious bite at a time. Right now, here's Gina with the weather.
It's feeling a little bit more like the winter months, as it's going to be a little bit on the breezy side for today and cold. Partly cloudy skies, winds out of the west right around 15 miles an hour is what we're looking at. High of 41 for today, tonight low of 19 tomorrow. Partly cloudy skies, winds out of the southeast right around 12 miles an hour. High of 44 with an overnight low of 27. For Saturday and Sunday, partly to mostly cloudy skies. Highs are going to be in the mid-50s, lows in the low 30s. And then as we go back to work on Monday, cloudy skies and 49. Yesterday's high was 45. The overnight low was 32. That is your weather for Zeb at the Ranch.
Thank you, Gina. And, of course, brought to you by Scarro's Meats, 331 North Road, Jerome. Good. Changing the way we eat, one delicious bite at a time. I want to also say thank you to 7 locations of your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. You know, they have been with us for years and years on this program, and I just absolutely salute every one of the locations. Really nice people serving you for your safe wintertime driving. Stop in and check out all the different tires for your driving conditions on different surfaces like ice, snow, rain, whatever. They can help you with all the different tread designs for your cars, pickups, SUVs, etc. Get in there. And they published this really great little bulletin called the Winter Driving Resource Guide, and it talks about tire chains, how to install them. It talks about batteries. If it's too old, you better get a new one. It talks about all the different tires for the different driving conditions, etc. Stop in and see them today. They are the best. Your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers with Lane over in Rupert, Dave on Blue Lakes and Twin, Mike and Buell, Mike and Jerome, the Twist family in Paul, Daniel on Pole Line in Twin Falls, and my buddy Randy on Overland in Burley. Nobody better. Your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. You stop in and see them today. As I said, I'm going to cut it short and turn it over to Wheels, and we're going to jump in the pick-em-up truck and head for the lunch bunch at Denny's Restaurant, 611 Overland in Burley. I want to leave you with this. Next week is a time for families. Next week is a time to give thanks for everything we've been blessed with, and there is a lot. Happy Thanksgiving from Zeb and Deanne at Zeb and the Ranch, and God bless you. We'll see you Monday at 8:06, right here on K-Bar, 12:30 a.m. and streaming live on the internet, zebbell.com. I'll get the time right. I've only done it 15 years. 8:06 to 11, and remember, the way things were are the way things ought to be. Have a great weekend.